Don't forget Tyler.
Councilman Tyler, I'm sorry.
Right.
Up the street and around the corner.
Mayor Wilzinski.
Here. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Next, we have approval of minutes, October 24th, work and regular meeting. Do I have a motion? So moved, Lovasolo. Second, please.
Second, O'Toole.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yeah.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
All right, well, next I have the pleasure of swearing in our new chief. Part of resolution. First, we have resolution 2024-248, appointment of temporary fire chief Greg Anderson. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
O'Connell.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Okay, now I have the pleasure of swearing in our new chief. Come on up. You're gonna dig it out? You got it? Oh, sorry. Oh. Okay, please repeat after me. I, Greg Anderson, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of temporary fire chief according to the best of my ability. So help me God. You ready? Mark?
They're gonna direct contact. You ready? 1, 2, 3. I took 3 of them.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, downtown parking check, no violation.
All right. Next, we have our consent agenda. These are matters that are considered routine, but I'd like to actually list a couple of them. We have actually some approvals already for next year of our True Green, who does our lawns, High Mountain Landscaping, who does our commercial grounds. Actually, we have our approval of the last phase 4 and 5 of the streetscape project, and we just actually found out the DOT grant has awarded us for I think it's going to be the last phase, so we'll be finally done. We actually are buying a new vehicle for the police department. which is good news, but unfortunately, the reason we have to buy it is not very good news. But we're happy to buy a new vehicle. And also, we have a resolution authorizing Allendale Rec. Allendale Rec and the borough have always had great partnerships. So they are actually helping us with our rehab of all our fields. We are going to be rehabbing all the fields in the borough. And Allendale Rec has offered to help subsidize one of our fields, Field 3. Yep. And we have our list of bills. Did you have a chance to look over those, Councilwoman Lovasolo? We have our budget transfers, which is actually not a very big one. Usually we have bigger ones this time of year, so that's good news. And actually, we are awarding our snow plowing already, so hopefully we won't have to use all that money. So, next, let's see, that's all we have on the agenda. That's actually on the agenda. Do I have a motion? I'm sorry, never mind. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on any agenda item? Come on up, Walter. State your name and address for the record, please.
Walter Woodman, 30th Hamilton. On number one, I wasn't going to bring this issue up. The humming has speaker systems for the birds, and we can hardly hear you speaking through that system.
Okay, thank you.
I
I
can
will.
hear you because directly.
Yeah. We actually did notice this the other night, but that was like the first time we just noticed it. So now that you've brought it up, I've noticed it a lot.
Linda, I'll
Number
stop by
two.
tomorrow and take a look at it.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler. The voice of,
Oh, Tyler. Number two, I just noticed today, I assume it's PSE&G at Crescent and Myrtle.
were
With
there?
me?
Yes, that was PC&G.
They directed traffic all around God's country to get home. What are they doing again?
I'm not sure what PSE&G is doing there. Does anybody know?
That's a long-term repair to gas infrastructure.
It's a long-term repair?
Well, I say that because I've been here 20 years now. 20 years.
Is there some way we can pressure PSE&G to shape up?
Sure. I can see what I can do.
I mean, you want
These
me to
utility
call them?
companies are tough to
Well,
deal
they
with
do have to
sometimes.
do repairs. I mean, you don't want to have a gas leak or a gas. We had one, remember, a few years ago that was.
They just replaced that pipe.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that easy, but
No, it's very inconvenient, and I'm not saying that it's not, but unfortunately, we do need to make sure that the infrastructure is appropriately functioning.
Because our streets are in terrible condition. As I've complained in the past, at Myrtle
Mhm.
and Crescent, it's a bumpy section, which I feel is unnecessary. And then Brookside and Crescent is another one. These are obstructions.
You mean a bump in the,
Yes.
I've actually noticed that too.
If these
There's like a
guys,
weird bump in the pavement from the heat or something.
I don't understand why they do such crummy workmanship.
Well, in government, you have to always go with the lowest bidder. So sometimes that's the reason. And regardless, that's
It's
sometimes you get what
it's
you
not
pay
the
for.
town, is it?
It's, yeah, and sometimes with utilities, they don't pave the entire road. They just patch certain areas that they're
Never
working
give a
on.
damn.
So,
Well, now they have.
So now
to
we're
go
doing curb to curb.
yes,
Yeah.
that is true. We
did
we
change
did
the
just
code.
pass an ordinance that if they're doing a big project, that they can't just do one whole side of the street. They have to do curb to curb. That's something new. We actually just did about 6 months ago. Which
Thank
will
you.
help, which will help.
Thank you.
Thanks, Walter. Anybody else from the public wish to speak on any agenda items? Not seeing anybody? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move, Lovasolo?
Second, please.
Holman?
All right.
Councilwoman Homan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yeah.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Abstain 24-254. Yes on the balance, please.
Thank you, everybody. Next we have council reports. May I start with you? Councilman O'Connell?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have, 2 more Boy Scouts, the Avello twins looking for a scout project.
Super.
I spoke Andy about it a little bit, and, we came up with, all the fire hydrants, perhaps a few feet into the road, painting the Maltese cross, so they can identify them when there's snow or when they're brush covered. And another one would be perhaps in front of the band shell, put a few pavers, a row of pavers there where, family service members in town can, get their names engraved of the service members, whether in service or service members that they had lost.
Excellent. I love that. I
So
love
they're-
both of those ideas. So
they're-
nice.
To their, scout council to see if that, those 2 projects get approved.
Very nice. Hopefully they will.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lovasolo?
Thank you, Mayor. Light on my council reports for tonight because we're not really up and running with all of the finance committee meetings yet, but we will be as departments start handing in their capital requests as well as we start taking a look at budgets for next year. And land use, our last meeting was October 24th, so our next land use committee meeting would have been scheduled for November 28th, but that's Thanksgiving. So we're trying to find a date that works for everyone else, tentatively scheduled right now for morning of December 5th. I don't know if I've had a chance to float that date with you yet, Mayor, but that will be our next land use committee meeting. I have a quick little upcoming list of events that are happening at Lee Memorial Library. For adults, they're offering, in addition to their recurring programs, a workshop on making college affordable, scheduled for the 18th of November, and an olive oil tasting on November 21st. They also just announced a holiday ornament contest and a very special holiday concert, Joyful Melodies, to be held in the evening of Saturday, December 7th. For tweens and teens, there's a Thanksgiving craft and story time on November 20th. And the Design Club on November 21st. For
Wow.
kids, D-November is underway, featuring a Dino-Rama on November 18th, a Dino Dig on the 21st, and a T-Rex Tea Party, Matt, on November 26th.
I'm in.
As always, a complete list of their programs is available on their website. And that's it, Mayor.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and thanks to the Green Team for great pumpkin collection, and I think that was successful. Thanks to our amazing borough staff and Linda for relatively seamless election day. I know there were some long lines due to a faulty machine, but we had amazing turnout, and thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Councilwoman Homan?
Yes, I agree. Thank you. And I want to be a part of the library board. Sounds like a lot more fun than than sewers.
Have a lot of fun.
So first I'll talk about the sewers, which I'll say meetings continue to be ongoing as we're looking at the developments that are being proposed in our neighboring towns and wanting to be able to utilize our sewer infrastructure and trying to best respond in a way that protects the residents of Allendale and preserving our resources, kind of to the point that was brought up a few moments ago about underground services. The sewer system is aging, and we have had infiltration of water. We have very high sewer utilization for the number of residents that we have. Andy has been working with Northwest Bergen Sewer Authority, and we may have identified some places that may need some repairs. Those are not inexpensive repairs, but they are ones that, of course, need to be done because having water processed and paid for when it's not actually sewage is money not well spent by the town. So that's something that we are looking to put into the budget for 2025. And then as far as water, we had a meeting, a town hall meeting here the other night where there were many individuals that I'm grateful came out to actually talk about some of their water bills. I have a collection of 5 people that signed up with their name and contact information that Veolia will need to be getting in touch with to discuss their particular water bills. There's another individual that had a public comment that we will put on the record, that they will also be added to the list for Veolia to contact, because some people have been very concerned about the larger than normal water bills they have received. That being said, all of Allendale has experienced a 12.25% price increase as of June 1st, which we've talked about in previous meetings. The mayor and myself have been continuing to communicate with the Board of Public Utilities, the Council for Rate Advocacy, and we feel like we've made some headway. The Rate Advocacy Group has sent letters to the Board of Public Utilities concerning the matter that we have brought to them, as well as they have sent letters to other municipalities that have their water systems up for consideration for sale. So I think that shows that we're making some headway in just raising the level of concern that, you know, we've experienced this 12.25% price increase. We also continue to meet with legal representation to explore what we can do as far as breaching contract. So we'll keep people updated on that. And that's my report for now.
Thank you very much. Councilman O'Toole.
Thanks, Mayor. The Public Safety Committee met last week on Election Day. Some of the topics that we covered was election security, some of our pedestrian walkway lights, blinky lights that the mayor loves so much, the radar signs which monitor speed and display their speed to the driver on McIntyre, with the second of which will be installed and the original one will be put back. Those will be operational by the end of the month. We also discussed the parking situation downtown in the evenings, which was much better this past week. Thank you, Chief. Chief Dillon gave us an update on Mark Dunn, who's progressing well with his recovery. I spoke with Mark the other day. He wanted me to pass along his heartfelt thanks to all the residents for all the support that he's received from everyone in town. He especially loved the cards that the school kids made for him. On the agenda tonight was a resolution to purchase a police vehicle to replace the car that was destroyed on the evening that Mark was injured. It's an F-150 police pickup, which is a much stronger vehicle in case, God forbid, anything like this ever happens again. We're happy to have sworn in Greg Anderson to the position of chief this evening. Greg has served the fire department for many years in a number of different leadership capacities, and already this week his strong style of leadership has been apparent. So congratulations to Greg. We have no doubt he did a fine job leading the department. And finally, on a personal note, I'd like to thank the police department and the Allendale Volunteer Ambulance Corps, particularly dispatcher Christian Henderson, officers Kyle Wanamaker, Nick Antonelli, Trip Rubino, Sergeant Helmer, AVAC Chief Bataro, and Debbie Higby, who all came to help when I was in a pretty serious car accident last week. Thank you all for your professionalism and for handling a situation very well that I've thankfully never found myself in before and hope never to again. But I can honestly say that the residents of Allendale are in very, very, very good hands. So thank you all.
We're so thankful you
That you're
walked away.
Councilman Yakarino.
Thank you, Mayor. As we noted this evening on the agenda, we do have a resolution authorizing ARC, the Allendale Recreation Commission, to work with a third-party vendor regarding Field 3. This has been part of our ongoing discussion since the beginning of the year regarding various fields throughout town. ARC had approached us specifically about Field 3, that they would be using organization funds to work on the rehabilitation of these fields. We did meet with them a few weeks prior to lay out some of our expectations regarding Field 3 in terms of communication, the work that was proposed, and so forth. We do anticipate that the renovations will go well. We've also communicated to them that we'd asked them for prompt updates regarding the same. Also, in an effort to continue our collaborative efforts with ARC, we will be having a representative from the Facilities Committee at the next ARC meeting, which has been moved to November 25th. So we're looking forward to that. And other than that, also the concession stand, we did receive our bids yesterday, so hopefully we'll be making headway on that. And that about wraps up the Facilities Committee. Also, just thank you to Linda and everyone for their work on Election Day. Congratulations to Liz and Suzanne on another 3 years. It's a pleasure to work with you both. And congratulations to Chief Anderson, and we appreciate your service to the fire department. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, Tyler. Now our committee reports. Our clerk, Linda Servino.
Thank you, Mayor. I normally don't have a long report, but tonight I do. I just want to cover two subjects. Election Day was very successful in Allendale. Election Day is usually run by the super board workers and the board workers themselves. We anticipated having longer lines this election, but never imagined we would have lines out the door. I want to say that about 90% of Allendale residents did not know what district number they were, and they just knew that they voted in this building. So I had printed 2 copies of the streets and district numbers, and my office staff covered both entrances of Borough Hall so that we can direct them to which line, which district line to stand on. We offered assistance to residents who were unable to stand in line for long periods of time and brought them to the beginning of the line. Allendale residents were very understanding, and I want to thank them for that. We also offered chairs to anyone who requested one. Not being an Allendale resident myself, it was wonderful greeting residents at the door and chatting with them. We were very lucky because it was very beautiful out that day. Our last voter for Districts 1 at the firehouse and District 4, the quilt room, was about 10:30 p.m. We cut the line off at 8 p.m., but we still have to take the people that are online. And that last person was about 10:30 p.m. that we finished up that. I want the residents to know that both Districts 1, the firehouse, and District 4 both had just one dual machine. A request was made to the county by me, as well as the super board worker, Bruce Davis, before Election Day. However, based on the numbers, they didn't feel we needed an additional machine and told me that they don't give extra machines for long lines and that other municipalities are experiencing the same long lines. I had to ask one person to cover up their political shirt, in which he cooperated, and Dottie asked someone to cover up their baby who had a political onesie on.
Get that last.
I want to thank the Allendale Fire Department for allowing us to use the facilities, the Allendale PD, the chief and patrol officers for all of their assistance, the library for dealing with all the cars, the DPW, Andy for marking out 100 feet from the polling locations and putting cones and signs. I also want to thank Andy and Chris Rosado for delivering election materials to the county for me later that night, and Lieutenant Griffith for escorting me down separately to another location at the county to deliver the election materials. It's usually one trip, but changes were made for this election where it required 2 separate deliveries. I'm proud to acknowledge the outstanding teamwork demonstrated by Amanda and Dottie, who collaborated seamlessly to provide exceptional support to our residents. Their collective effort, dedication, and communication ensured that each resident received the care and attention they needed, fostering a positive and welcoming environment for all. I would also like to acknowledge Walter Widmer for his remarkable commitment and perseverance on Election Day. In his 90s, he stood in a long line outside the door to vote, insisting on waiting his turn without seeking any special assistance or cutting in line. His dedication to exercise his civic duty is truly inspiring and a testament to his strong character and sense of responsibility.
Yay, Walter.
That's it on elections. Also, I just wanted to touch on I have a lot of friends who are on volunteer fire departments within different municipalities. The state of New Jersey and New York are currently facing dangerous and challenging wildfires, threatening lives, homes, wildlife, and natural resources. The men and women serving on the front lines of these fires, firefighters, emergency personnel, first responders, and volunteers are demonstrating extraordinary courage, dedication, and selflessness to protect their communities and prevent further devastation. They are often working in extremely hazardous conditions, risk their lives to fight these fires, save lives, and protect the environment. Countless other individuals, organizations, and local businesses have stepped up in support of these heroes, providing essential resources such as food, water, and snacks to ensure they remain hydrated, nourished, and energized during this critical time. Communities across New Jersey, New York, and beyond have come together with unparalleled generosity, donating supplies, financial support, and time to assist in relief efforts for those affected by the wildfires and to support the efforts of those working to extinguish the flames. These acts of kindness and unity highlight the strength of the human spirit and importance of working together to overcome adversity, whether in times of crisis or in everyday life. I want to express my gratitude to everyone involved in the firefighting efforts and to communities, residents, and businesses who have come together to support these efforts, providing food, water, snacks, donations, and supplies to ensure that they are well supported during their heroic work. I know in Ringwood, where I grew up, there's a pizza place called Luigi's, and they have been donating pizzas and food and drinks to the local, they'd have volunteers to deliver those. And then on another note, I want to also send my condolences to the family and friends of the young man, Dario Vasquez, just 18 years old, who lost his life while working the fire in Sterling Forest, located in Greenwood Lake, New York, on November 9th. And I also want to say congratulations to Greg as well.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Great report. Chief Dillon, your report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Busy time of year for the department, preparing for various community holiday celebrations, as well as preparing a fiscally responsible and functional budget for next year. Looking forward to a less eventful 2025. We are thankful for the support of the mayor, council, and the community.
Thanks so much. DPW Supervisor Andy Gugliero.
Thank you, Mayor. We continue to pick up leaves throughout the town. We are beginning to close the bathrooms at the grandstand and at the pavilion at Crestwood due to the cold weather. Wanted to thank Allendale Rec for their help with repairing Field 3. Much appreciated. PSE&G will be performing some road resurfacing work in the next couple of weeks on East Allendale. The compost facility is now open on Sundays. It'll be open till December 15th. Congratulations to Susanna Liz on your reelection. Linda, excellent job to you and the team on election day.
Thank you.
That was exceptional.
Thank you.
And last but not least, congratulations to Chief Anderson on becoming chief.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Borough Council, Ray Witt.
Very briefly, Mayor, in addition to some of the resolutions on the agenda, working with the clerk's office and members of the council, since our last meeting, the main matters we've been involved in, a couple of matters where the chief and I have been working. On the cell tower, 4 of the leases with the 5 successful bidders have now been signed. There's only one that's still going back and forth. That's the T-Mobile bid, but 4 of the 5 are all now inked up. So that's good news economically for the borough. As Councilwoman Homan mentioned, we have some ongoing work going on with respect to the request of neighboring municipalities to use the borough's sewer system. And that's obviously taking a lot of time for everybody to address those. With respect to Veolia, we are still working on the diversion process as it affects the New Street property. And this evening, several more easement agreements were finalized, and I've given those to the clerk for execution by the mayor, which is also good news as we move along slowly to get all of that off the table. As we all know, the affordable housing litigation, as to which Montvale is a lead agency, that continues to progress, albeit that's now taking a slower procedural path, but working with group counsel to monitor the progress there. And tomorrow is supposed to be the day in which PK is going to advise us as to whether that matter will be settled. We'll all keep our fingers crossed, and if not, as a contingency, the court has set a backup date of December 10th for an additional settlement conference. That's it.
That's a stuff going on. All right, briefly, my report. Linda and team did an amazing job. I'm so glad that all Allendale residents came out and exercised their right to vote. It was great to see everybody out there. The silver lining was a lot of residents came out and just said it was a beautiful day. And I've talked to neighbors that I never really got a chance to talk to and missed over the years. So You guys we're here since 4 a.m. to 11, so really appreciate the effort. But it's really the front effort that you did that made it run so smoothly. All of the visualization of the flow of the people, the picnic tables positioned perfectly. So really, really appreciate that, because I know you worked super hard on that and making sure all the poll workers were educated, because that system is a little complex. So we do really, really appreciate that. Fair share housing is something that is ongoing. I talk about it at every meeting. We did get our numbers. They're 260. If you multiply that by the affordability factor for developers, that's times 5, which comes out to 1,300 units, which is just quite a large number for our little town. We are, as according to our experts, ahead of the game. We've hired, a team to look into it. And while we keep saying that we're not against affordable housing, we want to do it without the expense of the town and changing the fabric of the town, and do it responsibly and according to our master plan. So there is the League of Municipalities that some of us will be attending next week, and there's a lot of conferences on this. We plan to attend every single one of them and get as much information as we can. So we are working very hard around the clock on that, deciphering all the numbers. It's a very complex system that they put forward to us with all these different categories and this very large spreadsheet. So we are definitely spending a lot of time with that. We had our town hall. As Councilwoman Homan mentioned, a lot of it was Veolia issues that we're continuing to explore. But otherwise, I thought it was very successful. People seem to like to come to town halls versus council meetings, even though there's some people here tonight. So we're going to continue that practice next year to promote government transparency. On a lighter note, our community center will be opening soon. We plan on having an open house the first or second week of December, so everybody can kind of take a peek. We'll have some events, starting this year, but for the most part, like all the bigger events, will be January 2025. Our staff has been working hard. We have a state-of-the-art system, so we're trying to integrate that with the calendar and the new system, so it's as seamless as possible. The first time we've ever done something like this, so just everybody hopefully be patient, and hopefully it'll go nice and smooth. Let's see, we actually have our holiday walk coming up, so we're not going to have another meeting before that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, because that's in between. Holiday walk sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce is the 7th of December, so we look forward to that. I do also want to reiterate all the support that Allendale has given Officer Mark Dunn. It's just amazing, and we still have him in our thoughts and prayers. Thank God he's okay, but he still has a long road of recovery. So we will actually be honoring him at our December 5th meeting. So we really look forward to that, seeing him. And last but not least, congratulations to Liz and Suzanne. I'm so grateful for both of you for running again and being part of this team. And also congratulations to Greg Anderson. I think you're going to make a great leader to our fire department. As I echo what Matt said, I've already seen some great leadership qualities. So we look forward to working with you in the future. So you're welcome. You can do it. We're positive you can do it. So we're excited. We're definitely excited.
No questions.
All right. So next is any unfinished business? Any new business? Okay. Next, we're going to open up the meeting to the public again on. Pardon? Yeah, I have to. You can if you want. We're going to open up the meeting to the public on any matter. So anybody from the public that wishes to speak, please come up and state your name and address. Come on up, Mark.
Mark Stavastano, 22 Greenland Place. Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank you for letting me have that 5 minutes at the town hall meeting. That was helpful to help spread the word about the Green Team. And I want to give a quick report on what we've been doing. First, I want to state that we had 1.1 tons of material that we collected at our first pumpkin collection, which, we collected mums pumpkins, gourds, and I see we have some recyclable material right here. And
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
My eyes
nailed
are-
down. Mark's taking.
while he's scanning, we collected pumpkins, gourds, mums, and there were a few corn stalks. I did weigh them all individually, but I won't bore you with that statistic. But I want to emphasize that it's another event that we did that cost the borough zero and helped the community to remove recyclable materials from the waste stream. So now we're moving on to vegetative waste and food waste as one of the things that we are working with. I received a call. I was on a conference call with Upper Saddle River and Ramsey representatives from their environmental commission and green team, and they are willing to have a joint collection of styrofoam with us.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will allow the residents to have a regular collection. They plan it on the third Saturday of every month. And we'll have to provide volunteers to go up to Ridgefield Park like we've been doing to process the material. But it'll be a steady event, so we can inform the public and they know it's going to happen every month. And I can get it out of my shed, which
That's
is
good.
getting full. I want to particularly thank Bruce Rosler before I move on for his support for the event that we had. And he was very gracious. Everything we asked for, he did. He provided the place for us to have our event. And he's also agreed that we can bring more material because we're planning a second one to occur at Borst Landscaping on the 23rd. And we're going to move that material over to Bruce's compost pile when we're done. So.
You can thank him yourself. He's behind you.
Oh, is he here again?
Yeah.
There he is. Hello, Bruce. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bruce. We started a holiday lights collection, and the library has agreed to allow us to have a collection bin there. And also at the high school, there's going to be a collection bin. So the students can bring them from home and drop them in there. I've had a temporary one in front of my garage, so people have been dropping them off there as well. And I've already gotten about 15 pounds of lights.
What do you do with the lights?
These are the string lights, right? Like the.
Yeah.
They use the wire.
So any type of holiday lights, yeah, they recycle the wire. They melt it down and they extract the copper. Yeah. And I also took a moment to speak with Chris Kunish at your special meeting, and he has agreed to speak with the Green Team about some possibilities of working with us to have some sustainability with the restaurants in town. So Scott Miller agreed that I can go and speak at the next chamber meeting, and that will be helpful as well. The more that we do, the more people are aware that we're doing sustainability projects in town, the more people question and send us emails and ask for how to recycle. So it's super satisfying to me, and I hope we're making a good impression on the council as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Sir, come on up.
Just a quick correction, Amy. I think you might have said the holiday walk was the 7th, the 6th.
No, it's
It's
Friday.
the Friday, yeah.
I'll put it in my newsletter
Yep.
correctly. Thank you.
Walter with Mercedes Hamilton. I don't know how or what can be done, but we should give special recognition to Mark for what he has done with this green team. It's above and beyond, and he has had a very pronounced effect upon recycling of the pumpkins and the material. Instead of adding to the garbage, we're making a smooth transition to recycling this material. And how we can advertise it, I don't know more so, but Mark has been doing a fantastic job, and I salute him for what his efforts.
Thank you, Walter.
Thanks, Walter. Thanks for joining the Green Team, Walter.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Come on up, state your name and address, please.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Greg Anderson. I'm temporary fire chief of the Allendale Fire Department. I reside on One Erie Plaza, my home away from home. I wanted to talk about the wildfires and how that's affecting the borough. I think it would be prudent to ask the residents to practice good water conservation. God forbid we have something flare up. We already had one on Byron Court. We'd like to make sure that our water levels are adequate enough and the pressure, of course, so we have enough water to fight any fire that might spring up. I think that's really it. Maybe a reverse 911 to the residents to let them know that, and no outdoor burning, of course. All right.
Do you
so
still recommend that the celery farm stays closed, correct?
I recommend it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All right. That's all.
Thank you very
again
much.
for your
Chief.
support.
At one point, was it, somebody said that we could potentially collect face wash, eye wash. Is that something that is still needed at this point? We can put messages up there. The Visine.
Yeah, water, refresh was good.
Right,
That
right,
helps
okay.
watch out the
We can
dry
reach
eyes
out.
and whatnot. And then any energy bars, maybe Gatorade and water. They're getting
can
a lot of
collect
that,
those
a lot of
as
backlogs. So,
Yeah, okay.
But-
We'll put.
all right.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Thank you. Have a
Thanks,
good night.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak on any items?
Well, I have an announcement to read into the record. Les Pernickle wanted, 48 Fairhaven Drive, has mentioned, what recovery do we have against Veolia Water Company? My bill is outrageous, $800. So that's his, statement
for the
into the
record.
record.
What recourse? Yeah.
Okay, just a touch, yeah. So, and I think that one of the things I'd like to just share with all residents is that there is the Veolia 855-367-6708 that they can call customer service. What I would recommend is, if they're not getting the level of response that they want, that they ask for a supervisor, because at that point, that puts the call into a record as to exactly why the resident is calling. So there have been numerous calls to Veolia over the past month, but very few, like there were like 200 calls each month, but only a total of, minus the number wrong, 6 or 7 actually asked then for a supervisor. So I do encourage residents, if they're getting their answer, their question answered, certainly don't escalate it. But if there's something where they're not, and as I said at the public meeting, people that had concerns about their bill, we have taken their information and asked specifically that Veolia will reach out to them.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Sure. Anybody else from the public wish to speak on any topic?
In regards to the fair share housing, if we wanted to write to someone to complain about what's happening, who would we write to? Which legislators or that?
Yeah, so it would be legislators, and there might come a point where it'll be a call to action, especially the ones who voted for it.
Mhm.
But we're not there yet, but it would be the legislation.
And to the governor's office? as well?
Sure, he's the one that, the governor's the one that, pretty much, this is his
Yeah.
project.
Okay,
Yeah,
all righty, thank you.
so, but,
The good news is that our Holly Shapizi, who does represent us
Our
now that
state
we're in
senator.
Title 9, is it's one of her main topics as well, and she's a big advocate for,
So she's on board with
she's on board with,
yeah, she
with,
realized.
yeah.
what's happening. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Not seeing anybody, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi. Have a
Good
good
night,
night, everyone.
everybody, thank
Bye,
you for
Tyler.
coming,
Have a good night.
have a good night, bye, Tyler.